So the last thing we're going to look at in this lesson, lesson 8, is thin features. I think we can do this in one video. I've been trying to keep all videos like no longer than 10 minutes. I know a couple have gone over a little bit, but not much, or shorter than that, because it makes it easier for you guys to watch and search and everything else. So what a thin feature is when we use an open sketch um, to create a feature. And what we do is we just create a sketch. We can revolve it, we can extrude it, and then we add a thickness to it. And what we get is what we call a thin walled feature. And you can see here this revolve open. My only lines here, I've got my axis of rotation here, this vertical line, and then I've got basically these three lines or these four lines in kind of this Z shape. And this is what I get from that. So I add a wall thickness to that. I get this thickness and then it revolves around there. If I end up closing this, same sketch, but now I close it with these two additional solid lines, you can see what I get. And I get this chambered type revolve. Same thing here. Now, if I use this, so what it's basically doing, it's using the same sketch. I use the same sketch and I extrude it and I get this kind of Z-shaped form extruded. And this is what I would get if I closed that feature and extruded it, or close that sketch and extruded it. So that's what we're going to do next. All right, go ahead and open up the drawing that is titled Thin Features, and you're going to end up with a drawing that looks something like this with these three different shapes. So if we look here, we've got some sketches, and if I go to if I select strainer, I'm going to go up here to features and we're going to revolve this. And so I'm going to say revolve it. It gives us a warning, and we've gotten this warning before. It says the sketch is currently open. A non-thin revolution feature requires a closed sketch. Would you like the sketch to be automatically closed? The last time we got this, or if you get this, we would select yes. This time we do not want this closed because we're keeping it as a thin feature. And so I'm going to hit no. And then here's what it did. So here's the shape. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. So you can see the shape of this, that it follows this line. And here's our center axis. That was our axis of revolution. And so that is correct. And then what it did, it selected a thin feature for us. It revolved it 360 degrees and it gave us this wall thickness of 10 millimeters. We're going to change this to 5. And that's what it looks like. I'm going to click the green check mark. Okay. All right, let's look at our other sketch. And so that's the bracket. And we want the bracket, not bracket start. The bracket start is the plane that was sketched on. So if we choose bracket, and now this time I want to extrude it, I can see that it's extruding in the wrong direction. I want to extrude it towards this cup or this cylinder. And so I'm going to reverse that arrow. I'm going to come down here to our thin feature and I'm going to put this at 5 millimeters as well. And now this 10 millimeters is a distance because we've got blind selected. And so what we're going to end up doing is selecting up to next. And we have to be careful because sometimes we think of, well, it's up to the next surface. And here's what we get with that. And if I take around and look at this, it is up to this surface, but I'm leaving this blank space here. Where if I change up to surface to up to next, now it takes that whole thing and it integrates it into the side like that. Okay, we are going to auto fillet the corners, and we'll do this at 3 millimeters. And now we can see when we click OK, that it gave us this nice fillet on the outside of that corner, and it went up to that surface but not through it. All right, let's flip this thing upside down so it looks something like that. I want to pick this face, and I want to do and we're going to create a sketch on that surface. I'm sorry. Yeah, create a sketch. And then we're going to come down here, and I want to convert entities. Actually, let me escape out of that first. And let's select this bottom edge first. And with that, that is what we're going to convert. So you can see it brought that ring, it brought it up to this surface where we created that new sketch. And now we can extrude that. And so we'll come over to features, extrude. Let's go in the correct direction. I want to extrude that at 5 millimeters and make sure I'm merging the result right here and click OK. And now we put a flange on that other side that matches this diameter. Okay, let's drag this out a little bit like we did before. And we're going to make our right plane visible. And so we're going to just click on that. And then we're going to create a reference plane from this. Now, the way we did it before, and we can do this again, is we can come up here and do reference geometry. The other way that we can do this is if we hit our control key, hold it down, we should be able to drag this out. So there's our reference plane. And now here, my offset distance, I'm going to put 75 millimeters. And I'm going to say OK. So just a different way that you can do that. And we could either just call this reference plane, or I'm going to call it bracket end. We get a bracket start. Actually, let's call it bracket start 2. Okay, so we can go ahead and this reference plane, this bracket start 2, we can right click and create a sketch. And then we are going to come back over here. We're going to select this face. And we're going to convert entities. And now you can see that that sketch of that face was projected onto this plane. And so now we can come up here to features. We can extrude boss base. It's going in the correct direction towards a cylinder. And we can do up to next. We can select OK. Let's go ahead and hide these planes by clicking on them. And now you can see that our finished part. Everything's merged into one another. So you can see how easy that was by converting this entity to this side, that everything stayed nice in line and it stayed the right size. We didn't have to do anything to it. So again, just another way to do things, another way to create a reference plane. Again, it's just adding tricks to your bag, and giving you different skills. And again, you might not use this for a long time, but it just gives you an option when it comes to creating a part. So go ahead and save this, and you're going to hand this one in too.